What's up, Big 12 Nation? It is Tuesday night in America. That can mean only one thing. It is time for another edition of your favorite YouTube-centric Big 12 show. That is right. It's the one, it's the only, the biggest 12 with me, your host, Clint Foster. We're back from the break. Hope you had an amazing Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Happy New Year. We're back. Snow is imminent about to hit North Texas. So you know what that means. The world is about to end here in North Texas. But you know what? We're doing a show. We're doing it anyway because I love y'all. And we got a lot of bowls to talk about. Great bowl season to break down. But before we get to that, I need something from you. I need you to subscribe to the show. Say it with me. Yes, subscribe to the show. Please like and subscribe at Big 12 Voice of College Football. There it is right there. We do this every Tuesday night. All right. If you're watching this on Twitter, hello. Hey, great to see you. Please scoot on over to YouTube and give us a subscribe. You know, it'll really help us out, help us bring you this content that we love to bring you. All right. And also make sure while you're on Twitter to follow me at Clint_Foster55 and follow my personal YouTube channel at Clint Foster Comedy. I know I haven't put out another video. I was working on my documentary like a madman all Christmas break. I cannot even express to y'all how excited I am about this project. It's about a third of the way edited right now, and I got a whole nother round of interviews on Martin Luther King Day, actually. So that's the main thing that I'm working on right now. But you're going to find it and all the updates associated with it on my personal YouTube channel, whether I get around to making other sketches or not. But so you should do that. You subscribe to that, but subscribe to this too. Okay, and also make sure to find the Big 12 Live on your podcasting app of choice, you know, Apple Music, Amazon, Spotify, you name it, we're there. Make us a part of your commute, okay? Or, you know, if you live in Texas and the whole world's going to shut down because we're going to get 5 inches of snow, which I'm sure my guest is going to find is absolutely hilarious, you know, you can listen to it at home. You can do that as well. So let's get this sucker started. You know, there's only one person that I could bring on to break down bowl season. You know him. You love him. He's practically my co-host at this point. Brownie, how are you, friendo? How was your Christmas? How was your New Year's?
Not too terribly bad. Surprisingly, we have less snow than what northern Texas is going to be getting, which is extremely weird to see. Like, I saw a couple of the videos from Kansas City shutting down with that ice storm and like the snowstorm from the weekend, and I was like sitting there chuckling because I went up to like northeastern Iowa, which, you know, is typically the polar vortex frozen tundra of the universe, right there with like Minnesota and Wisconsin and stuff, and they didn't have any snow on the ground, like at all. It was completely brown, and where we live we had like an inch and a half. I'm like, this is a messed up world.
You know, the funny thing about anytime we get ice or snow, usually it's ice that we get. And we're literally the epitome of the meme of Mike the Tiger, where it's like he realized he's not built for this. You know, it happens every single year. We get some crazy ice storm for like a weekend and everyone panics and the whole state shuts down that gets any ice because, you know, we don't know how to drive on a sheet of ice. And it is, you know, it's admittedly more difficult than driving on snow. But yeah, we're going to get a quite the winter storm coming in, and so that's you know,
I don't envy you at you at all. Don't at all. You can keep it. Just
probably it'll be here. The funny thing is, it'll be here when the Cotton Bowl's happening. So you'll have all of the Texas fans panicking over the existence of snow, and Ohio State fans looking at them like, "I'm sorry, are you okay?"
Speaking of Texas, they definitely don't deserve to be in there.
They do not deserve it. Oh,
I have never seen a more rigged ass game in my entire life, and we personally have gotten screwed on so many Texas calls. Mm-hmm. Like, that was such a Texas called game that it's not even funny.
Yeah, there's a reason I titled the show The Great Atlanta Screwjob, and we're going to talk about that Texas-Arizona State game, the absurdity that was that game.
Absolutely insane.
Absolutely insane, crazy. But, you know, overall, decent bowl season for the Big 12. Big 12 finishes 3-4. That's not including the Alamo Bowl when you had a Big 12 on Big 12 violence happening. And you see our 3 victors represented behind me, plus Arizona State because they made it in. The 2 purple schools in Iowa State. There you go. Pop-Tart Bowl champs. I mean, there's no higher title in the land than Pop-Tart
Right.
Bowl champs, dare I say. But we're going to break down each of these bowl games. We might as well start at the beginning. This is one that we were worried about, Brownie. And whenever we had Kuz on, he was worried about it as well. West Virginia did fall to Memphis, 42-37. Valiant effort by West Virginia, despite all of the chicanery that they were having to deal with, having an interim coach. But not a result, I think, that really surprised us. Did you have any extra thoughts on the game?
I'm actually surprised that West Virginia did as well as they did. I think that a lot of people, including West Virginia fans, believed that it was just going to be an absolute blowout. That really it was going to be more of the underclassmen trying to vie for those eyes for plays and stuff to maybe get like a foot in the door, so to speak, for next year with this new good old Rich Rod coming back. But I'm actually surprised that it was so close. Like, I thought Memphis was going to be beating them by like double digits. I wasn't expecting it to be like this at all. Like,
yeah, they put up a
kudos
fight.
West Virginia.
Yeah. And Garrett Green balled out. I mean, he was 29 of 40, 328 yards, 2 touchdowns through the air and 1 on the ground. He did throw an interception, but overall, really great game for him. And CJ Donaldson, his last game in a Mountaineer uniform, because he, like everyone else apparently, is transferring to Ohio State. 22 carries, 83 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And he also had Hudson Clement, 11 receptions, 166 for 2 touchdowns. That's both of those passing touchdowns that Garrett Green threw. Solid showing by the West Virginia offense, but Memphis, too much firepower.
Yeah, Memphis is a glorified P4. They're the NDSU of G5 teams.
Except without any of the trophies.
Right. Without the 10 out of the last 14 national championships.
Yeah, man. I don't know if you caught that game. I watched the end of that game.
I did.
The North Dakota State, Montana State. I've never seen a walk-off punt before.
A walk-off punt.
Yeah.
You bring all 11 people for a block punt, and you only get 3 people through. Like, what are you doing? At least you can keep one guy back there. You can fair catch it. You have 5 seconds on that punt. Yeah. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Okay, so back to the Big 12. Our first victory of bowl season in the Rate Bowl. Kansas State defeats Rutgers. If it weren't for a certain bowl in Orlando, I would have said this is the most exciting game, or at least the most exciting victory that we watched this bowl season. Kansas State comes back.
What a comeback.
They were down, like 21 points? Is that how much they were down? I got to go back and look at it.
Yeah, they were down, I think it was like, 27-17 at half. And I think they scored right before half. So they were down by way too much.
Yeah. 20. So at half, it was 27-17 at half. And let me see if I can look at this game cast here. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, 27-17. So the deficit was never larger than 10. Felt like a bigger deficit than that. 34-17, I guess, was the biggest deficit right after halftime.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kansas State battles back, gets the win against the Mafia's favorite team.
How is that so close? Rutgers is like a bottom feeder of the Big Ten, and K-State forgot that they knew how to play football until like the second half of the game.
Yeah. I'm going to be really interested to see what Kansas State looks like next year, because, I assume they're still going to be able to run the ball well, but I'm just really not sold on Avery Johnson as a quarterback, at least as a passing quarterback. Right. I mean, I don't know. Obviously you're a hater, Brownie, but like, what do you see this game as a launching point for Kansas State going into next season?
I really think that Kansas State needs to take a long look in the mirror, and they either need to almost exclusively work on Avery Johnson's passing, and get their offensive line into a position where they can actually pass block, or they need to really bite into Avery Johnson being that dual threat mobile quarterback that everybody in the Big 12 is actually concerned that could happen, where it's straight back to Oregon RPO or freaking Rich Rod Pat White days. You know, like, you really think Pat White was going to pass 3/4 of the time? Oh, not a chance.
Yeah.
That dude was a glorified running back that could sometimes throw the ball. I think that they're kind of in the same situation here. They need to figure it out. Is Avery going to be able to pass the football and be like a P4 passer? Or do they just need to fully sell, do RPOs, quick slants, maybe a couple of home run balls with play action or something? And if he doesn't see it there, give him the green light to run.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, clearly his strength is in his legs. And it does feel kind of like sometimes when you're watching him, it's like we're trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, and turn him into something he's not. He's a great athlete, but there's a lot better. I feel like there's several better quarterbacks in the Big 12 going into next season. And yeah, you need to play to your players' strengths. I'm not entirely sure that Kansas State's doing that right now. He was a 50% passer in this game, 15 of 30, right? That's easy math. Even the history teacher can do that.
Not even 200 though.
Yeah. 195. Yeah. Not even 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. Yes. And an interception. But I mean, it's kind of like, and it didn't look good, right? He didn't look good in that game.
No.
But they did run the ball effectively, like I say.
It's weird. And I think that has been, I mean, even when you look at Bill Snyder's time at K-State, they never really had those true pocket passers. They've always had those like mobile quarterbacks where if the play breaks down, they go for it and they rely heavily on the run. I mean, you look at Darryl Sproles, when Colin Klein was there. Colin Klein was a mobile quarterback, but he was built like a freaking tank.
Yeah.
So you couldn't take him down either. I mean, their entire history is ground and pound with a quarterback that's just good enough to pass the ball, but is really more effective because he essentially requires you to QB spy him all day. Then you're just playing 11 on 10 all day. And that's how they beat you.
Yeah.
And I think that they need to figure that out.
Here's a fun fact for you. Dylan Edwards actually had 1 more yard rushing than Avery Johnson had yards passing.
That is depressing.
Yeah, 18 carries, 196.
Imagine having 196 yards on 18 carries. Oh, wait, Abu Sama did.
Yeah. Zing. But I mean, we're talking like they lost the game. I mean, they won the game. It's good.
It's
ending
great.
the year on a high note.
I was happy. I'm just more mad that it was so freaking close. Like, I genuinely thought that K-State was going to come out here and put up a 50 burger on them and hold Rutgers to like less than 20. And at halftime, I was like, this is not the K-State that I adore to hate. Like, this is the K-State that I genuinely hate.
Yeah. Well, speaking of a game that I don't know if it made me mad, but definitely annoyed me, the Liberty Bowl. Friggin' Texas Tech just lays an egg against Arkansas.
Tech. Why?
Yeah, why?
Well, why?
Talk about a team that never looked good this whole game, right? They got down early. Arkansas was up 21-3 at the end of the first quarter. Tech battles back in a very bizarre Texas Tech-y way. But yeah, Arkansas was completely in control of this game from start to finish.
And they should not have been. I think Texas Tech on paper is the far better team. I think Arkansas kind of lucked out with it. But like at the same token, why is the Liberty Bowl even a bowl game anymore?
It wasn't even a bowl. It was half demolished.
It was like a wrong-sized horseshoe.
Yeah. Oblong horseshoe. Man. Like,
it was bad.
Like, this team lost to Oklahoma State. Texas Tech, what the hell are you doing, man? Come on. Have a pulse against frickin' Arkansas. Don't give credence to Kirk Herbstreit's, self-fellatio about the SEC, which now apparently he never said.
He's never said that, and
Yeah.
he is glad that it's 3 Big Ten teams now.
Yeah, because they couldn't have bought better ratings.
Yeah, right.
Oh God, there's sometimes I hate so much about this sport. Like I love this sport, but I hate the people who run this sport. Like, oh my God, it's so disgusting.
Well, it's ESPN. It's not even the NCAA anymore.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, and it's gross, right?
Enter the Illuminati.
Yeah. Well, or what do you mean or? What do you mean or? Right? So yeah, Texas Tech. I have nothing good to say about you.
I have absolutely nothing good to say to them. Like,
I hope that
congratulations, you're doing good in the transfer portal.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I hope you buying every player in the transfer portal, somehow reverses your fortunes. I'm not sure that will.
Congratulations on Patrick Mahomes' money, I guess. Now becoming the most valuable Big 12 brand.
Yeah.
Because Mahomes gave you half of his $300 million paycheck.
Yeah. People don't really do it so much anymore, but people used to refer to Texas Tech as Sand Aggies around here.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And I feel like it's kind of an apt comparison because at least these days, because Texas Tech is always winning the offseason, man. They're always getting all these recruits and players that they're really excited about, and then they go out there and they win 8 games if they're lucky, right? They go out there and crap the bed, which is fine for me. It's fine by me, but like a very overinflated sense of we're gonna run things, and it all is gonna come through Lubbock, and I'm lose to Arkansas.
You remember? You know what that reminds me of?
What does that remind you of?
The Dallas Cowboys every year. We them boys. Dude. We back, man.
I have never.
You have not had a very good football season this year.
No. Well, but hey, the Frogs, things ended on a high note, and we'll talk about that in a second. But right. I've literally, Chargers are my second favorite team. We talked about this, Brady. So, I'm excited about the Bolts and the playoffs. But, the Cowboys, that's my team. And I have never, cared so little about my favorite team as I do right now. I'm just I don't even care.
Jerry Jones had a cameo on Landman.
Yeah, and it was impactful because bro wasn't acting. I mean, that was just him.
Right.
But oh my God, it's never gonna get better. That really sunk in for me. The offseason going into this year, right? Because the offseason going into this year is we're gonna have a terrible year. Even before Dak gets hurt, when your big splash free agent signing, when you need a running back, is bring back Zeke Elliott. I'm
who's now on the Chargers practice squad?
Yeah, right. I was like, no, we're not even trying. What the hell is this? It's I don't care. And nothing's ever going to change until Jerry's in the dirt. It's just
might not take that much longer.
Well, you say that, but
I think
Jimmy Carter hung on.
Hey, Jimmy Carter is a champ because he waited until we at least won 11 games before he tried.
Yeah, there you go. That's what he was waiting on. That's what he was waiting on. He's
it was oh man, Iowa State finally got double-digit wins. Now I can go.
Yeah, yes. It's I can rest. You can rest now. All right. So goodbye, Texas Tech. Let's talk about the only team from Texas that won in their bowl game. Okay, Frogs defeated Louisiana Lafayette 34-3. I mean, really could have
a slaughter.
Could have hung 100 on them if we wanted to. And you know what?
Did you guys even play a second half?
Literal
question.
I dozed off in the fourth quarter. I dozed off in the fourth quarter because we were just kind of out there running the clock basically.
Yeah.
But it was a dominant win. It's what you want out of this type of a game.
And you got a clay pot.
Yeah, we have a clay pot. No one else does, right? This year. Where's your clay pot, Alabama? That's what I thought. Where's your Michigan win, Alabama? But what was I going to say? Yes. This is a game that we very easily could have just don't care and, got smacked in the face. No, went out there and played. Josh Hoover broke the single season record for passing yards. He eclipsed Trayvon Boykin's previous record, which is very exciting. I am super
weird that Andy Dalton didn't have it.
Well, Andy actually ran a lot more than people realize. Yeah, he ran a lot more, and we leaned on our running game. We had a 3-headed monster at running back his junior and senior season, and we did a lot more running the ball than people remember. actually, back in those days. But yeah, Josh Hoover, he has now eclipsed Trevon Boykin and Max Duggan are the next two behind him as far as passing yards. And I'm real excited about him going into next year. Really excited about a lot of the wide receiver pieces that we have coming in. That stud kid from Idaho, as well as Eric McAllister now going to be stepping into a go-to role.
Pretty good.
Manjack from somebody just changed the color of my thing. Manjack. This is
somebody messing with you.
No, it's like orange. We can't have that.
It is burnt orange.
Yeah,
of all colors.
Sorry, whoever's trying to do this. No, we're keeping it purple. Manjack from Houston coming in. And I'm really excited about the two young running backs who ran the ball better than, our running game still wasn't perfect. Offensive line still has a lot of room to grow. But Palmer and Payne, that is a duo at running back that I'm very excited about. And in actually doing one of my interviews for my documentary, I was talking to one of the current members of the TCU coaching staff, and he was saying, oh man, yeah, those kids, they run crazy. It's like they're just dogs out there. They're kind of like not really looking for the hole right now. They're just like running downhill. And I love that. That's something that we were missing with Cam Cook and with others. And also, I'm very excited about the defense. Andy Avalos, finally, I feel like the defense just improved leaps and bounds throughout the course of this season to the point where we're in this bowl game completely shut down Louisiana completely. Nothing but positive emotions really about this bowl game, with the exception of, the offensive line still needs a little work, but hopefully we get another piece in the transfer portal. Ben Taylor Whitfield and Ryan Hughes grow up a little bit this offseason, and we're in a good place going into next year. And yes, Happy New Year, Dish Fish, you fellow New Mexico Bowl champ. Good to see you, Bubba. Any other thoughts on this game, Brownie? Surely not.
No, not really.
All right.
I just remember seeing the halftime score, and I'm like, oh, this isn't a game.
Yeah. But that's nice. We didn't get a lot of that. We haven't gotten a lot of that the last 2 years. So it felt very, with the exception of our horrific uniforms, which I really did not like, it felt very Mountain Westy, right?
Oh,
we're in New Mexico. We're blowing out a team. Defense is flying around. Yeah. Oh yeah, it was the spit blood uniforms with the chrome helmet, and which is very gross. So let's talk about the main event. Let's talk about the bowl that was the most fun. Game. The Pop-Tarts were ripping off their foil, and
how is this not a champion? How is this not the national championship game?
Legitimate, but isn't it though? Really? Let's be honest with ourselves.
Whoever wins this bowl game should be considered the national champion just because of all the theatrics. Beginning of the game, they brought out the zombie strawberry Pop-Tart from last year. Yes. Nobody saw that shit coming. Yeah. And I remember some of the media people were even messaging me, and they were like, dude, we didn't even see this coming. What the actual F is going on?
It's such a spectacle. I love it. It really taps into the absurdity and spectacle that college football is supposed to be all about.
I really think that Pop-Tarts does it right.
Yeah.
They make the bowl game an event where all it does is promote the product. Why did Cheez-Its not do this outside of the Cheez-It commercials? Why didn't they have just a giant ass Cheez-It come out of an oven and you just ate it?
To be fair, the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl, they did have a giant Cheez-It officiate a wedding on the field. That did happen. So, I'll give them their flowers there. But yeah, Pop-Tart, they know what this is about, right? That it's very tongue-in-cheek. They understand the plot. They understand the assignment. And they go all out with it. It's and hilarious. Yes, the sprinkles on the sideline. Oh,
dude,
absolute
that was so amazing.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, even if we would have lost that game, I think that I liked just watching that bowl game. Even if we got our butts kicked, which was happening most of the game. But I enjoyed watching it. I can literally look down this Big 12 list of other football games, and I think the only other one that I actually thoroughly enjoyed watching was the comeback that K-State had on Rutgers, and
Yeah.
then followed very closely by BYU.
I was gonna say
dismantling
I got a lot of satisfaction out of that game. We'll talk about that.
Oh,
in a
I
little
did
bit.
too. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was just so interesting for me. Like, everybody on social media is always going to put an asterisk on something for Iowa State, and this one specifically was, oh well, Cam Ward didn't play the entire game. Like, if Cam Ward would have played the entire game, you guys would have lost by double digits.
But
And the
that's not
crazy
even
part is, we were only down by like 3 going into halftime.
yes.
Like,
Yes. That's
I'm
that's
sorry, what?
literally
Cam Ward played for an entire half, got the record, and we were still within a score.
yeah.
And you think that Cam Ward playing in the second half all of a sudden was going to stretch that one single digit lead to double to like a 4-point or a 4 possession differential? Like, no. Like, it do I think that they should have put Cam Ward in the last possession? Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. Major miscalculation on their part. But but yeah,
Well, it was also weird because he had on his helmet. It looked like he was coming out, and then his coaches pulled him aside.
yeah.
So, was it like the coaches? Was it Cam? Like, were they trying to make the illusion of us going, "Oh shit, Cam Ward is back"? Like, what happened? But also, like, just play the entire freaking game, dude.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go out there
Either
and you're
sit out or
going to
don't.
put if you're gonna put your body on the line for the record, and you still go, "Hey, I'm gonna play until halftime," play the freaking second half. Iowa
Yeah.
State did not apply a single lick of pressure to you all first half,
Yep.
like at all. And all of a sudden, you're just gonna be like, "Nope, their defense is too scary. Like, I'm done. Like, gotta worry about my $20 billion paycheck coming from the New York Giants that are going to trade up to first overall." Even though we all know that he's probably going to be a Tennessee Titan, but
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Iowa State was in this game the whole time. It had nothing to do with, Cam Ward sat out and that's why Iowa State won. I mean, did Iowa State benefit from Cam Ward sitting out? I mean, sure, right?
Yeah.
Like that last drive in particular. I think Cam Ward sitting out, Iowa State benefited from that. But Iowa State went and took this game, and it was freaking fun to watch.
I think if Cam Ward would have stayed in it, I think we would have seen this game eclipse 100+ points.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you're right about that.
Because Miami's defense couldn't stop us, and Cam Ward scores in like 2.5 minutes. So I really think that all it did was prevented like a 72-70 barn burner blowout of old school Big 12 spread offense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which I honestly would have also enjoyed because that would have been fun as shit. But
yes. Well, and Rocco Becht had himself a night. This is another dude who, when we talk about quarterbacks, I'm excited for next year. Rocco Becht, I don't know how you can't be excited about this kid. 22 of 36, 270 for 3 touchdowns. One of those going to Jalen Noel, who had himself a day. 8 catches, 117 yards and a touchdown. And immediately his first act upon, finishing his final Iowa State game, he's talking crap at Iowa fans, which you shared.
Oh, it was absolute blast, dude.
Fantastic.
Like, as soon as the Matt Campbell social media ban left, like, Jalen Noel was all over all of the Hawkeye burners, just talking the most amount of shit. Like, some of the stuff that he was posting, I genuinely thought that it was just somebody that switched their tags to match his and was just shit posting the entire time. No, it was 100% Jalen. And then, like, TJ Tampa, who's an ex-Iowa State player now in the Baltimore Ravens, started chirping in. And then Charlie Kohler started chirping in. It was, like, just super weird because all of a sudden all the Cyclone players were like, "Oh, yeah, hey, by the way, like, we're here, stupid Hawk burners. Like, pound sand." And I'm like, God, this is weird. Like, did not have that on my bingo card.
Yeah. Also, gotta shout out Carson Hansen, wetting our whistle of some white running back magic,
Right.
16 carries, 82 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Love watching that kid run. Iowa State finishes.
Bulldozer, man.
Yeah. He's very like a small Mike Alstott, dare I say.
Yep.
So
pretty accurate.
Yeah, Iowa State finishes 11-3, first ever 11-win season in Iowa State history. Now, next week, a little preview for next week's show, we're going to be grading every Big 12 team season. We'll have Ralph on with us to talk about his experience in Atlanta, and maybe we'll have Brittany on. We'll get the gang together. But where, Brownie, does this rank for you in all-time Iowa State seasons?
It's definitely top 5. You could argue top 3 for me. I don't think it's like one of our from a competitive standpoint, I don't think that you could say that this is our best season. I think that we definitely benefited from a cupcakeier schedule, especially seeing how Utah played out and a couple of the other like top teams kind of dropped down into it. I felt a little bit of disappointment on how we played in the Big 12 championship game, especially after seeing the way that BYU has now manhandled Colorado. I do feel like we were cheated out of the BYU Arizona State championship game, which I think would have been far more competitive.
Yeah, I think you're right on that.
But it's still not something to discredit them on getting the first ever 10-win season, 11-win season. Like it's never been done, and you still have to at least give them the kudos for that. I just think that they made the best out of the best situation. So I mean, I give them a solid top 3.
So then I got to ask, what's your top? What do you think is the best Iowa State season ever?
Oh man, top Iowa State season ever.
Be going back to Seneca Wallace or
probably, yeah, actually, because he was in when we played against Florida State. I would probably say, man, what year was that? 2002 was probably going to be one of my top ones. Otherwise, my other top one is the last season of Paul Rhodes, because that's what got us Matt Campbell. So, little trickery there, but yeah, I think between that and probably the Fiesta Bowl year, which obviously was COVID, I think that if we had the normal football schedule, and not all those stupid COVID pauses and all this other stuff, I think Iowa State probably could have won 10, 11 games that season too. So it's kind of fun for the what if isms or whatever, but I mean, yeah, let me pull up. It would have been the 2000 year. We went 9-3, and that was led by Sage Rosenfeld.
Throwback, man.
Throwback to the Minnesota Viking.
Yeah. Okay, well, we'll put this magical Iowa State season to bed and move on to a very satisfying Alamo Bowl. BYU takes Colorado to the woodshed, 36-14. This game, talk about a game that was not competitive, but BYU making a statement, and I think more than any other team in the nation, miss me with Ole Miss, miss me with Alabama, BYU is the team that got left out of the playoff that has a bone to pick with the committee. This team should have had an opportunity, and they were never going to get one because they're a Big 12 team.
Hot take: if BYU played against Texas, they would have lost. Like Texas would have lost.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Well, they should have lost to Arizona State.
They should have lost to Arizona State too.
Yeah, BYU also has a history of beating Texas, lest we forget.
Yeah, I'm well aware of that one.
Yeah. But yes, I'm really looking forward to potentially being able to wish good things for Colorado, because I feel like now that Shedeur is gone and we have all of this, AstroTurf hype around Travis Hunter, I don't dislike Deion Sanders as a coach. I think there's a lot of positive, great things about him as a coach. It's just been so obnoxious, the media coverage of Colorado and the overhyping of Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. They're not that good. They're really not that good. And that's been the most irritating thing about it. So I'm hopeful that Colorado will be more easy to root for on a casual basis now that they're gone. Your thoughts on that?
I definitely agree. The only problem is I think that the overhypiness was kind of played in with the ESPN And then when Hunter won the Heisman, they had to keep hyping it up even more.
Mm.
And I personally like Deion Sanders as a coach. I do honestly believe that if Norval sucks again for next year,
Mm.
we might be seeing prime time down in his alma mater.
That could be
Uh,
fun.
Dude is an absolute baller of a recruit, and if you put him in Florida, like even Tallahassee, like
Yeah.
I Florida State needs to get an SEC call if they're going to be putting in every single prime blue blood program into the SEC for the SEC bias. Like that is as soon as Deion Sanders makes it to Florida State, like that is first on the agenda, I think. But yeah, he's done great. Colorado has been dog water ever since they went to the pack.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's got them back into winning ways. I also don't believe that Shador and Travis Hunter should be top 3 NFL draft picks.
No.
Um,
Hey, New York Giants, please take Shadur Sanders. Please, New York Giants, please pick Shadur Sanders. I want that for you. Truly.
it's going to be one of the top 3. It's whether or not that the Cleveland Browns want to move on from Mr. Touchy Hands or not.
Oh my God. Add
But
another name to that. I'm surely you've seen that Cleveland Browns jersey that's got like
yes,
21
I have
quarterbacks.
21 quarterbacks,
Yeah.
and they all are the number 2.
Yeah.
Add it to the list. Add
Yeah.
Shador Sanders on there.
Mm-hmm.
But
Oh,
yeah,
that poor franchise.
it's just so weird that like they overhype 2 players, but the 2 players that I think make the most difference on a team, which is a quarterback and a wide receiver, and the kid plays defense. Like you should be winning that game with those 2 stars. If
Mhm.
if you're all in on these type of guys. They got completely locked down by BYU. They didn't look that great against the Big 12. I honestly believe if they had one more year in the Big 12 before their massive paydays that are coming up, I think that Colorado would probably run the table on us. Giving them one more year of just Big 12 exposure. Because before that, they weren't playing Power 5 or Power 4 competition. Like, it takes a little acclimation, but at the same time, like, Deion Sanders can't be calling 180 out of 189 play calls passes.
Yeah.
Like, brother needs to learn what a balanced playbook is or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Or at least, like, do a 60-40. Like, a 90...
Even Mike Leach ran the ball, man. Even Mike Leach ran the ball.
Barely, but he did.
Yeah.
I think somebody was like actually running the stats, and like Deion Sanders was 75-25. I'm
That's
like,
crazy.
dude, 3 out of your 4 plays are passes.
I mean, truly though, that was TCU this year because we couldn't run the ball for crap. Like,
I mean, the same with Iowa State, but like at the same point, like we probably didn't have as many snaps as them either.
yeah, true. You know, and here's the if we could shift the conversation back to BYU. I'm admittedly, I need Bomber on here or, you know, one of the other several
They were
BYU folks we have
hosed,
on the
man.
show. Well, they were host, and I'm not well versed enough in like the eligibility for most of the players on their defense, for example, but I don't know how you don't look at this BYU team and see Big 12 favorite and flashing letters for next season. I mean, this team brings back Retzlaff will be back. That great running back that played in the Alamo Bowl. He's only a sophomore, right? This team, this is a good freaking team. You know, that I don't think, you know, like you could say like Iowa State, hey, they benefited from a kind of easy schedule. Arizona State, they were just like riverboat gamblers out there and just found a way to put it together. BYU was legitimately a very good team this year, and they bring back a lot of pieces. And I am not looking forward to TCU having to play them next year. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'm scared absolute shitless of that Glasgow kid. That kid is all over the freaking place, and he's a sophomore.
Yeah.
Like, you're telling me that I might potentially have to deal with that BS for another 2 years? Like, no, thank you. Go to the NFL right now. Like, please leave my conference.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. Go to the SEC or something. Like, come on.
I mean, it's good to have, it's good for the Big 12 to have lots of competitive teams. It's just we need the nation to recognize that how good all these teams are,
Take the Fortnite payday and go to Michigan. Like, please go away.
Yeah.
I don't want competition.
Truly the biggest bummer about this game. I mean, yes, it was gratifying watching BYU beat up on Colorado, People's Big 12 Championship, all of that. But it's so unfortunate that we didn't get an opportunity for BYU to just smash like an Ole Miss, like Carla's talking about here. BYU so easily, any of those mid-tier SEC teams or an ACC team, I mean, BYU would have took them to freaking school. And it's a shame that we didn't get the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. And I really think that it's a huge disservice, especially when you look at the entire college football playoff picture. I do believe that BYU is a better team than Tennessee.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that they're better than Tennessee. Like, yeah, I guess keep Idaho in there or Indiana. But like,
it's hard to hold out a team that won 11 games in a Power 3 conference. A Power 4 conference. It really is.
Apparently I froze. Cute little face. Oh well.
Well, I can still hear you, so keep going.
But yeah, like it's just weird for me to where we allow a Clemson in there. I mean, the audacity of having Tennessee in there of all freaking teams.
Yeah.
And Kirk Herbstreit was sitting there going, "Oh, this is the year that we should definitely have Alabama in here instead of the likes of SMU or Clemson or whoever else." Like, yeah, I agree. Clemson, I believe, shouldn't have been in there either. But
Clemson's the ACC champion. I feel like if you win a Power 4 conference, you should be in the playoff. Point blank, period.
I also believe that we need to reassess the playoff system. I'm one of those believers where I don't believe that the champions of the conferences should automatically get like the first 4 byes. Because we're putting Texas against Clemson, and we all know that Texas is probably going to smoke the crap out of Clemson.
Yeah.
Like, that wasn't in a competitive game. Tennessee should not have been against Ohio State. I really think that it should have been BYU versus Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not going to lie, that one probably would have been a fight to the death.
Yeah, I still think Ohio State wins that game. I think Ohio State, they're going to win the whole thing this year, I'm afraid. I hate it because I hate Ohio State. But they're on fire. They're playing great ball right now. And I cannot wait for them to bully Texas. Actually, I'm really looking forward to that.
It annoys the crap out of me. Well, I guess I'm just going to...
Maybe the first time ever that I'm rooting for Ohio State, because I want them to expose Texas so badly.
I really think that it's going to be Notre Dame versus Ohio State for the championship game. But like this Ohio State game, like Ohio State is just good.
Yeah, they are.
It's insane.
Yeah. Alrighty. Looking ahead to the Texas Bowl. And this is one that, no matter what happened, it was going to be good for me because either Baylor wins and the Big 12 looks good or they lose and you suck, Baylor. And the latter is what happened. LSU beat Baylor 44-31. I did not watch this game. I kind of make it my business to not watch Baylor if I don't have to. I'm about to pull up the stats from it. Did you catch this one, Brownie?
I caught bits and pieces of it. I wasn't overly invested into it. I did see that Sawyer Robertson passed for like 450 yards or something like that. Like that was absolutely insane. How do you let your quarterback throw for 445 yards and you still lose?
51 times. 30 of 51 for 445, 2 touchdowns and an interception.
Yeah, what? You want some stupid stat? There you go. That was probably a like 75% passing rating mumbo jumbo BS.
Also, I mean, hey, I do not pretend to, give 2 rat farts about Baylor or what they're doing, but why the hell is Dawson Pendergrass, whoever the heck that is, why is he getting 21 carries and Bryson Washington's only getting 5? Bryson Washington is a stud. Was he hurt? What happened here? Maybe he got hurt. But like,
the Lord may never know.
well, Lord knows I'm not watching this game back. I mean, now, hey, we did have the cool moment of Sorry Robertson praying for the LSU kid whose ankle was dislocated, which was, so you know,
And
that's a
they're done
cool,
that. It's fine.
cool sportsmanship moment. But yeah, LSU's in control of this one from start to finish. This looks like even more of a butt whipping than the Liberty Bowl, frankly. I mean, LSU was up 28-7 in the second quarter. And, you know, kind of lets Baylor slightly back into it where it's 34-17 at halftime. And then, you know, at that point, it's just LSU's kind of sitting on the ball.
Typical
But yeah.
SEC bullshit.
Yeah. It's unfortunate for an SEC team to win, but hey, Baylor lost. So America rejoices.
Hooray.
Now let's talk about that Peach Bowl. And I put this defeat in quotations, okay, because what the actual hell, man. I have seen Texas win some stupid games that they had no business winning because some calls went their way. I mean, the call everyone's talking about is the targeting call.
The targeting
and it was
call.
freaking targeting.
The blatant targeting call. Oh, well, you don't call that in that situation. Yes, you do, my guy.
Yes, you absolutely do. Yes, because it's
Like,
targeting.
Is it targeting? If the answer is yes, you call it no matter what the situation is, because that's what we have always been told. If it is targeting, you call it. It can be
led with his head. He launched, right? He did all of the things. Everyone in the chat knows we had a lot of smart people that watch the Biggest 12, right? That was targeting. And there's literally no excuse to not call that. On top of that, here's another one that people haven't been talking about. One of Texas's touchdowns, and I have to remember exactly which one it was, but the catch was not completed. You see in the replay, the ball touched the ground.
Yeah, it was the 4th down touchdown.
The 4th, yes. And what the hell, man? I can't. I wish that we had Ralph in here to diffuse the situation by saying something self-effacing and, you know.
Nope. But, not allowed.
But like, come on. I can't wrap my mind. Like I can and I can't wrap my mind around just how absurd the thievery in this double overtime game was. I mean, usually when you do something like this to a devil, there's something horrible that happens to you for your pride and your haughtiness, right? At least in the tales of old, right? But I don't know. I can hardly wrap my mind around just how absurd the thievery was in this Peach Bowl game. We'll get Brownie back in here shortly. Are you with us, Brownie?
Yeah. Apparently my camera's just never.
That's okay. Yeah, Dishfish saw it. Dropped the ball on 4th down. Now, does that mean that Arizona State, they had some missed opportunities? Yes. I don't know why you call a 0 blitz on 4th down there at the very end of the game.
Why you leave a guy that was torching you all game wide open?
Yeah.
On that, like, why was there no coverage over the top?
Yeah. But Cam freaking Scadaboo, bro. I think they said if it's not the first time that a losing team had the MVP of the Peach Bowl, it's the first time in a very long time. That kid left it all on the field. I mean, 30 carries, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns, 8 catches for 99 yards, a 42-yard passing touchdown. Bro was getting dirty hits, helmet ripped off. He pukes and rallies. I mean, I don't pretend to be a Arizona State historian, okay? And obviously, everybody loves, golly, I just lost his name, the linebacker who went to Iraq or wherever, or Afghanistan.
Tillerman?
Yes. But, I mean, give this kid a freaking statue. Legend. Absolute legend status. It is so unfair for him to put that kind of a performance out there and not get the playoff victory. It's just outrageous to me.
Yeah. And this is one of those games where, like, I personally felt like this was cooked from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, you could clearly see that a lot of the officiating was favoring Texas. There was a lot of holding calls. I mean, I always say a lot of holding calls, but there's always holding calls that are missed every single game for both teams. But like, I just felt like Texas was holding on every play, like worse than the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yep.
And nobody was doing anything about it. And then you're sitting there and you're watching the game and you're like, oh, when they called that flag for targeting, I was like, I guarantee you they're going to pick it up and they're not going to call it because it's Texas. If roles were reversed, 100% that Arizona State player is getting pulled.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no shot that kid beats the allegations at all. And then you're looking at that fourth down where it was clearly dropped. It should have been reviewed because it was a scoring drive.
Yep.
Like, why wasn't it? Why wasn't it reviewed? Why? Like, it also bewilders me where some of these head coaches have to waste a timeout, go and scream at the officials, and then the officials up above go, hang on, we're going to review this now that there's a timeout. And then they get the timeout right back because it was an unofficial official review call. Like, that's what I don't understand is why are we having to waste a timeout for somebody to review something when that is in fact their entire job?
Yeah, completely outrageous. And you mentioned the holding calls. Call me a conspiracy theorist all you want, internet, but that is how you know that the fix is in. Because like you said, Brownie, there's holding on just about every single play, but the frequency or infrequency with which refs throw that flag, that is how they influence a game, right? Because that is a drive killer, right? 10 yards, that's a drive killer.
Or pass interference.
Texas is getting away with egregious holding throughout that game. Take away the mistargeting. Take away not reviewing that drop touchdown. That's how you know the fix is in.
Yeah, and it's the same way with pass interference. If you get a couple of PIs early in that game, you're going to switch up the intensity that you have for your coverage, right? You're no longer going to be overly handsy because you're going to be scared that they're going to throw the flag on literally everything. So it's kind of always interesting because I used to be an official for soccer, and I used to always do the set the precedents early and often, and then let them play from there. Because if you show them that you're going to call everything, then it's going to set the tone early. They're going to have to readjust because you're being a jerk. And eventually, as the game rolls along, you can let them get away with some stuff. But Texas got away with everything. They got away with the kitchen sink. They got even like the bucket that you put underneath the sink because it's leaking.
Yeah.
They got everything.
Yeah.
It was like an Oklahoma tornado.
Yes. And I can't wait to have Ralph on next week to really get his, because he was there live and in person, right? Get his recounting of events. But, it's such a shame because this was such a fun Big 12 season. I mean, the league was so wide stinking open. And it's a shame that this is the final note that the 2024 season ends on, is just this absolute screw job in the playoffs, and what was otherwise such a magical season for Arizona State. I mean, truly magical.
Absolutely insane.
It's a shame it had to end this way.
I hate it.
But yeah, so that's all from us tonight. Like I said, next week, be sure to be here or be square. We're going to give out grades for all of the Big 12 seasons this year. All 16, baby. That's going to be a doozy of a show, but we're going to do it. Yes. But before we go, Brownie, tell the folks where they can find you. They ought to know, but tell them where they can find you.
You can find me on X with the handle Hoosier Burner. You can find me on Blue Sky. I'm really close to my target with a free giveaway of Iowa State memorabilia. I do also have some TCU, Okie State, and some other Big 12 memorabilia that I'm willing to throw in if it's a non-Iowa State fan. So head over to Blue Sky, find me Wide Right Natty Light Brownie over there. WideRightNattyLight.com, of course. And keep me in your thoughts when you visit family. If somebody that you know got a nutcracker of a Big 12 school and they do not want it, it is my objective of 2025 to get all 16 nutcrackers of the teams. I currently have Iowa State, Oklahoma State, and surprisingly Colorado.
Amazing. Hey, so there's 85 of y'all watching at this very exact moment, which, hey, shout out to y'all. Amazing. One of y'all has a cousin with a Big 12 nutcracker that they don't want. So help my man out. All right, let's
hook me up. DM me. DMs are open.
Yes. All right. Please subscribe to the show at Big 12 VOCFB. There it is right there. We do this every Tuesday night. Follow me on Twitter at Clint_Foster55 and check out my YouTube channel at Clint Foster Comedy. Until next week, I love you. I hope your team wins. Lord knows TCU basketball is not winning anything. Go Big 12.
Roll clones.